Alright, so welcome back to the video. Do me a favor, as always, drop a like, subscribe, leave a comment. And in the last video where we reacted to Larry Bird, I was so amazed about his playmaking and passing. And the fact that I knew Larry Bird played with injuries, but I never knew how severe his injuries were. And y'all was letting me know down in the comments that he played with some crazy injuries. And y'all told me to come react to this video, and I want to see how Larry Bird was really hooping with his injuries. But yeah, let's hop straight into it. I hope y'all enjoy this as always. So yeah, link to the video always in the description. And yo, before we even get into this, man, we hit 300 subscribers, man. I really do appreciate that. And just, I'm so appreciative of y'all, man. Thank you so much. And let's try to hit 1,000 next. But yeah, I just had to say that because thank you, man. Thank you. But let's hop straight into this. Larry Legend, baby. We back.
You know, to his credit, he gets up and fights through it and goes out there and plays, but he is not a healthy person right now.
I've never met an athlete that would play with pain the way he does, and an athlete that's so highly self-motivated as Larry Bird.
Yeah, Larry played with some crazy injuries, I know that for sure.
5 years, you'll think back about what he did, or you'll just, you know, you'll go that. I think it's one of those things that as the years go by, it'll become bigger and bigger and bigger.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and today I'm back with another video, but this time, once again, we have to talk about Larry Legend, one of my favorite players of all time. And I think even the most casual NBA fan knows that Larry Bird in his career was a very tough player, and he overcame tremendous adversity as well as injuries. And I wanted to make a very quick video explaining how tough Larry Bird was and just some of the big time injuries he overcame. So with that being said, let's get into the video and look at 5 times Larry Bird overcame injuries and absolutely dominated. So the first injury we're going to look at is from 1979, before Larry Bird was even in the NBA. And this injury occurred in a friendly softball game with Larry Bird's brother as well as friends. And here's Jackie McMullen explaining this very bizarre and peculiar injury.
Well, he shows up, and who's on the other team but his brother? So Larry's playing out in the outfield, and his brother hits this kind of spinning, looping ball, almost like a Tim Wakefield knuckleball. It's just spinning all over the place. And Larry tries to go down and make a basket catch, and his finger goes all the way back, and he's like, man,
it breaks his finger.
It really hurts. And he looked down, and his finger was completely dislocated and mangled, and you know, he really was bothering him. He had to stop playing right away. And so now remember, he's been drafted by the Celtics during this point, but he has not signed a contract yet. So his finger is in a bad way. He has to have major surgery with clips put in and pins and everything else. And he never tells the Celtics this has happened. But you know, sooner or later they get word, and they summon him to Boston. And, and the trainer examines him and says, and the team doctor examines him, and they say to Red Auerbach, this guy's damaged goods. Now,
damaged goods is crazy.
So he says, come on, Larry, get dressed. So Larry puts on his stuff. Red throws him the ball. He goes out. He starts shooting from all over the floor. He's hitting from everywhere. Throws him a few bounce passes, has him throws a few overhead passes, and he said, you look fine to me, kid. And Bird said, great. But Bird to this day will tell you, he's never had the same feel for the basketball.
So obviously a pretty bad finger injury that affected Bird
the
rest
all
of
the way
his
back.
life. And around 2010, Larry Bird gave an interview and said this finger to this day is shaped like a boomerang at a 45-degree angle pointing toward his thumb. And he's had 2 surgeries that have failed to straighten it out. But I think the most intriguing thing in that clip is that Larry Bird himself said he never had the same feel for the basketball after this injury. And Bird, for his career already, was one of the best shooters of all time. He was the first player ever.
Still one of the craziest players I've ever seen.
And he routinely shot over 90% from the line. But with that being said, Bird actually could have been a better shooter than he was in the NBA if it wasn't for that devastating finger injury. Now, next up on the Bird injury list, we go to his back, one of the worst injuries a player could ever have. And this injury for Bird occurred in 1985 in the middle of his prime. And here's his doctor, as well as a few commentators, talking about how tough Bird was and how difficult it was for him to even play a basketball game.
Larry had 2 jobs his last 7 years of playing. It was playing basketball.
Yeah, if Larry didn't have the back injury, man,
him being committed to taking care of his back.
Would have been like,
he had first heard it in 1985.
So much better.
Building the driveway at his mom's house back in French Lick.
Larry decides to do it himself. This is Larry Bird, the superstar, out there breaking his back, literally shoveling gravel. And that was the beginning of the process.
I mean,
I would see
what can you say?
TV
Like, that's a real man doing his own.
They told me that he had to lay down on planes, different things like that. And I was like, Wow. As
Larry was
Magic
really
soared to the
sacrificing
prime of
himself
his career,
for the wins.
deteriorating
Yeah, Larry
back
was
and
back.
punishing style
Backs
of play,
was
proving an excruciating mix.
From 88
like,
to
I don't know how many
92,
times Larry done
it
hit
was
his back,
painful to
but man,
watch. It was painful to cover. Larry is quite ornery when he's not feeling well, which means he was ornery for those next 4 years.
He could manage the pain in a way that very few people can do.
oh,
If you get paid to go to work, you got to go to work.
It was a situation that he was seeing almost daily. He had lost the structural stability in his spine, so it would slip into abnormal positions to try and lock itself to get an artificial
That's severe.
stability. That's like getting your finger stuck in a door and somebody's still pushing on the door. So what we had to do was unlock his spine, realign it, do techniques that would hold that for 4 hours, 6 hours, that type of thing, and then he'd go play basketball.
So obviously
Dang.
that back injury was pretty devastating for Bird, and it kind of marked the end of his prime. But even with that being said, Bird in his last 7 seasons still put up tremendous stats, averaging 25.1 points per game, 9.3 boards, 7.0 assists.
those are some
and near
amazing
54
stats, actually. Wow,
splits. Those stats right there from an offensive perspective are still some of the best stats of
91%
all
from the free
time.
throw.
And once again show Bird could handle pain like few athletes ever. And one of the most remarkable things I've ever heard comes from Larry Bird's former teammate, that being Robert Parrish. According to Parrish, Larry Bird never took painkillers, pills, or any shots in his entire career. Bird simply toughed it out and showed mental toughness as well as physical toughness and played basketball at the highest level for 7 more years.
You have to
also,
hurt
one
your
thing Larry
back
Bird
like that
was
and
known
not take
for his career
painkillers. You're
was
a tough
being
man.
mentally tough. And here's a quick story from Kevin McHale talking about Larry Bird's mental toughness after being stuck down in an airport for 10 straight hours.
He did
Back
what?
then we flew commercial. We didn't fly private. We played in a Tuesday night game in Cleveland. And of course, we got up for the first flight out. We had a game on Wednesday night in New Jersey. Snowstorm hits Cleveland. We're at the airport at 7 in the morning. Flight's canceled at 7. It's canceled at 8. It's canceled at 9. It's canceled at 10. Canceled at 11, 12. We finally leave about 1:30 or 2 in the afternoon. We fly up to New Jersey. Now the storm has kind of moved into Jersey. And the bus driver says, well, I can't get to the hotel into the arena. I can only go to one place. Well, we had a game that night. We go to the arena. So we get to the arena, and I mean, we're dragging. And we're sitting around the locker room, and, and everybody's kind of, we're tired. And,
It was pretty bad man right there.
The coach gives a little bit of a speech of, come on, man, guys, we're playing basketball. Let's get ready to go. And Larry stands up, and Larry says, a couple other few choice words, and he says, I don't know about you guys, but I'm going to take it out on their rear ends. So I was like, oh, all right, so let's go. So we go on the floor. Albert King sitting there. And Larry walks up to Albert King and goes, don't take this butt whooping personally. I've been eating hot dogs all day. And then Albert King looks at him like, you've been eating hot dogs all day? What's that got to do with me? And we went out and just hammered him. I mean, we terrorized him. And that was Larry. There was no excuses. I mean, he just played. And I tell you, that was just his competitive nature. But a day when you fly all day and eat hot dogs in the airport, best thing was Albert's look on his face like, what hot dogs got to do with me?
I'm telling y'all now. If I'm an NBA player and somebody say they're gonna whoop me because they was eating hot dogs all day, I'm gonna be upset. I'm gonna be confused and upset. But Larry was a trash talker, man. Larry was a trash talker. One of the best trash talkers.
And that story from Kevin McHale, for the most part, is pretty comical.
Ooh.
But I think it still shows Larry Bird had extreme mental toughness. And when it came to playing basketball, he would give it his best every single night. And I actually went back to Larry Bird's game charts, and I found this game from 1986 on April 13th. In this game, Boston beat New Jersey by 28 points.
Yeah, I mean, Larry said it.
6-4-3 on 64% shooting, and he didn't miss a single three-pointer or a single free throw. And what makes it even more impressive to me is this game versus New Jersey was the last game of the season. Bird could have easily packed it in and waited for the playoffs, but still, he wanted to play this game for his teammates as well as his coaches. And that year in 86, Larry Bird didn't miss a single game, playing all 82. And if you compare that mindset from Bird,
he didn't miss a single game. Yeah, Larry's a tough man because for him to have these injuries throughout his whole career, for him to actually have a season. Well, I don't know how many seasons that this has been a thing, but I'm thinking since he had so many injuries that it can't be that common. But for him to have a season where he didn't miss a game, Larry is a tough man. Oh my God.
between modern day players, it's simply night and day. I pretty much guarantee you any modern day superstar will 100% sit out that game and
For
rest
sure.
in the playoffs, but not Larry Bird. And when talking about Larry Bird in his prime, 1980 to 86, really before his big time injuries, he played 561 out of 574 games.
He only
played
missed
all 82
13?
games 3 times and over 36 minutes per game every single year. In 2 years,
So
he
yeah,
actually
3
led the
seasons.
NBA in minutes per game. So back in the day,
Okay,
Bird,
Larry was just
if
out there
you
going
recall,
crazy
He
then.
was 100% suiting up and playing basketball. But the one time in Bird's career where he simply could not play was in 1989. This year, Larry Bird had severe bone spurs, he had what many people thought was a broken foot, and he had double Achilles surgery. And back in the day,
Bone spurs. What did it say? Achilles or something like that? He had like 3 injuries? And what? It was a fractured foot? Okay, yeah. Larry had some injuries, man.
An Achilles injury could possibly be the end of your career. But once again, not for Larry Bird.
Came back and
As the
dropped
following
25
year,
a
he had a very
game.
great and underrated season, averaging 24.3 points per game, 9.5 boards, 7.5 assists, while playing 75 games at 39.3 minutes per game, while leading the NBA in free throw percentage. So even after all those injuries, Larry Bird once again came back to all-star form, and he overcame double Achilles surgery. Now the last Bird injury we have is in 1991, and this injury is also the last great Larry Bird moment in the 91 playoffs versus the Indiana Pacers. And to kind of set the stage in this series,
I love that
Boston,
shot, man.
they
I
were
will forever
heavily
love it.
favored, but in games 1 through 4, Bird was not playing up to par, only averaging 18 points per game, 9 assists, 8 boards, on 37% shooting, and 11% from 3. And back in the day in the first round, it was a best-of-5 series, so Game 5 was a winner-take-all game. And near halftime of this game, Larry Bird would go down with a severe head injury, possibly a broken cheekbone, as well as a mild concussion.
Ooh. I've seen this plenty of times, but I didn't know it was that bad. I thought he just probably hit his head. I didn't think it was that bad. He said a broken cheek and a concussion? Wow. Okay, knowing the context behind that now, this made this clip so much worse.
But he stays down for a long time. What effort by Larry Bird.
But I don't know if he was fragile or was it just bad luck for Larry?
But in typical Larry Bird fashion, he would tough it out and come back in the middle of the third quarter.
I think that's when in the comments y'all was telling me that he was seeing double the whole time and he still came back and played amazing. It's crazy.
Here comes Larry Bird. But certainly this out of the pages of Willis Reed in Game 5 of the championship series involving the Knicks and the Lakers in 69-70.
And in this Game 5 in the Boston Garden, from that moment on, Larry Bird would dominate for the remaining 18 minutes of that game, having 17 points, 7 boards, and 5 assists, on 60% shooting, leading Boston to a 3-point win. And that Game 5 versus Indy is the last great Larry Bird moment as he overcame injury and dominated in that second half. So with that being said, that is the end of the video. Let me know your guys' thoughts. How tough do you think Larry Bird was?
Yo, why didn't nobody tell me Larry Bird was literally this tough? That's crazy, man. He was really one of the toughest players we've ever seen. He's also a legend, but I didn't know that whole head injury, it was that severe. Larry Bird was one of the toughest NBA players we've ever seen, man. But if y'all enjoyed that, do me a favor, drop a like, subscribe, leave a comment. I'm gonna catch you next video. We out of here. Peace.